Tonight I went looking for Xeno and ended up finding 325A's performance profile, leaving Atmo of Area 18, and also an impromptu tour/review of the 600i Touring and 600i Explorer models in 3.14K. Before this video starts, I wanted to add in this little insert here, noting that there is some exciting new developments I just found out about moments ago. Proxys CIG has noted that the PTU environment is now open to Wave 2 testers. You're going to hear me talk a little bit towards the end of this video about how I wish they would open the PTU finally to more backers, at the very least another wave, preferably all backers, but this is a nice touch. Wave 2 being a lot more folks. Wave 1 is like concierge, long-term subscribers, and people that have done tons and tons of incident reports in the issue council and things like that. Whereas Wave 2 is going to be a lot more just people that have been around for a little bit, backing for a little bit, and probably all subscribers. And that's a nice touch. Keep an eye out for more waves as the waves start showing up. Very, very quickly after, there'll be even more waves. Also, the armor that I talked about on Reddit, Mr. Stephen B. Showed a screenshot here I'm putting up for the Civilian Defense Force up at the Delphi, Moby Glass mod, showing how you can see your armor progression to get that new CDF armor. As soon as I get my hands on it, I will test it, show pictures, and really weigh in on what that combat armor will look like. I think it's a really cool thing that you can earn during this. And as Mr. Stephen B noted, level 0 gives a helmet, level 1 gives an undersuit, level 2 gives nothing, level 3 gives torso armor. Hopefully by the time this is actually rolled out properly, you'll probably have a full set, so the arms and the legs will be included. Also, credit to Arbitrary Ranger for noting the helmet level in Stephen's posts. They are pretty cool. So, with that all said, please check out the rest of the video and enjoy it. So, I thought today I would give Area 18 a try to see if there's anything exciting and new and how the spaceport's performing under 3.14K with hotfix on the server side. And Xeno seems to be in testing again. Dr. Roberts currently on staff. It's probably not a coincidence. It seems like they did some work on the medical, although despite that, I can't get through the doors. I think it's Orison that definitely has Orison General, and I think it might be New Babbage that has a medical facility that's working. But this place sure as heck ain't open yet, unless I am missing the side door. I also wanted to verify that the G-Lock bar has their bartender back and see if there's any new AI starting to sneak in. I've noticed some AIs doing a wall lean earlier. I went to capture it and they walked away. So it's kind of neat to see. In this area, it looks like the NPCs are still loading up. Nobody's been in here, I take it, for a while, because they're all standing still waiting for themselves to get their AI to stream in for their actions and such. But none of them are standing on none of them are standing on chairs or tables or anything crazy like that. So they're not standing on the chairs. So hats off to you, fine gentlemen. That might even be the bartender. Nope. Nope. So, at least in this patch, the focus is Xeno threat. It does not appear that the bartender's functioning. If I hung out here long enough, maybe. Just a pro tip, I guess you could call it. If you do decide to do an event inside the game, I would recommend coming out to one of these bars or facilities, or I think nightclubs they referenced in the thing that they're working towards in the next couple patches. Be sure to come out here first. Come in here way ahead of time, like, 10, 15 minutes ahead of time before everybody else is going to come out. So all these NPCs start loading up and they actually start doing something. I would suspect that if the bartenders are fixed, as they say they are, they're probably fixed, but only once they start streaming in all the AI. So we're on our way to Viridian City? No, different game. We're on our way to Area 18 Spaceport, and we're gonna see what we can see. If you noticed, the gate that leads over to the convention center of Area 18 is through here, and it's closed. I don't think that's going to be down. I think that's going to be down for a while. I would be shocked if Area 18 comes back as the place for a convention. There is 4 platforms over on Orison. 3 have opened so far, and the mall still even has, which is Cirrus, the mall over in there has shopping areas that have not been opened yet. So they have quite a few different options to... Ah, no! They have quite a few different options to put a convention center over there. So probably I would guess that it would have its own bespoke convention platform, or at least a portion of a platform, because those places are massive. I always keep thinking back to BioShock Infinity, and I think of like the cloud, the sky, the city in the sky, and how the kind of the buildings click together, like the little floating platforms click together in different ways. And whenever when I always I think of that, I'm like, that feels so much like Orison, because that's what Orison means to me. Orison is potential. If you're one of those folks staring at the clouds over and over again, just get over it. Like, if anything, I would lower the clouds quality to around medium or high, depending on how good your graphics card is, and especially medium if you're recording. I don't know why I pulled the gun out, but if you look in here, first of all, I should make sure my motion blur is still off. But if you look here, for whatever reason, the patches keep increasing the clouds back to high. I don't know why. I like it on medium. Once again, I don't know why the clouds keep going back to high. It's honestly the best setting for me. On a vanilla 2080, it seems to treat me well. I do have an older CPU, which in Star Citizen does matter. Star Citizen is a game that has both high CPU needs and high GPU needs. And as the Gen 12 rendering tech keeps getting brought in more and more, especially in places like New Babbage and in the new spaceports of Orison, the landing site of Orison, on Crusader, you are seeing places that are more GPU intensive and less CPU intensive. At least that's the vision it is working towards. This is one of the older locations that is kind of a mix of both, but it is, I would argue, Area 18 is pretty well optimized. I mean, it's somewhere that's not too terrible when it comes to the optimizations. I can say that I have friends who have 16 gigs of RAM who have told me flat out that when there's a special event, though, such as IAE Ship Expo here at Area 18, in the past it was, there would be issues with them trying to load into the convention hall. So they would be fine everywhere else in Area 18, but they tried to go to the convention hall where it has all those different ships and many players piling in and out of it on every server, and it was very difficult for them to load that in without crashing, even with increasing the paging file size. That has not been... Well, he just popped into existence right around that corner. Think you'll believe me if I bumped into him? Excuse me, officer. If your AI worked, you'd be pretty mad right now, but don't worry, it's just because you popped into existence right in front of me. Enjoy your existence. You know, it's like, I don't even know what to say. But anyway, hey, there we go. Okay. So, just wandering through Area 18, we now know what a green zone is. You are now leaving a green zone. So green zones are what we've suspected in the most recent video I talked about, the new AI missile tech that they're trying to roll out for green zones, as it was called by the community team. And here is our answer. A green zone is a major landing zone site in the areas that are not spaceport. So there you go. So there will be the equivalent of like surface-to-air missile launcher systems that are going to be firing at you if you mess with a green zone. I guess it remains to be seen if Port Olisar's landing sites are considered green zones or not. Because I was talking with one fellow just in the comments just today about how, you know, in Port Olisar it would be nice if they had the missiles basically chasing the enemy too, because eventually they run out of countermeasures. And or at the very, so you have two options. One, they gotta make good on what they're doing and stop doing it, or B, they have to evacuate the area eventually, or C, have to get very creative, like have a friend land the ship, fill it with ammunition and fuel and repairs, and then come back out to continue griefing. Like it would be, or an alt. It would be really weird, really fast. I think there's a few things to look at when it comes to missile tech, and I think a lot of it is focused on players because we're used to it, the world revolving around us. But AI is what keeps people from griefing, or at the very least tamps it down enough where people have to make a real effort, and they have to make legitimate risk to continue their griefing adventures. And that's the way it should be. I'm not saying it should be completely gone, but it should also be, it should be something you have to make a decision to do, and you're risking something. In the case, you're legitimately getting chased by a herd of missiles, and not just the cannons that have too short of an effective range and have issues with angle of view. You know, like, so you're firing, but the rounds are literally hitting the side of the walls of the edges of the pad and stuff like that. Missiles will not have that problem. Missiles can chase you around corners and such. So, yeah. Well, my paint job's screwed up. Ooh. That's kind of cool. That's not the correct paint job, but hey, I'll take it. I shouldn't say that. I've spent a lot of time on 325As. And this is a custom nice one. At least I think it is. We'll know right away. This is not my custom 325A. Right here should be a coffee maker. And over here should be the food processing center. And then there's like a music box too as well. And then behind here should be like a clock and other stuff. That's usually always not stocked, unfortunately. Okay. So this is a stock 325A. I have a theory that they purposely set us up with stock uncustomized 300 series ships because they said they wanted you to test the new builds of these ships. They recently changed the 325A's main gun that's underneath its nose from a beam cannon to a size 4 beam cannon to a size 4 Gatling, which is a significant jump in change from a weapon that's like more for endurance to a weapon that is designed to more DACA, as the kids would say. You can see that gigantic size 4 Gatling cannon sitting on the front of the ship. Should increase the DPS, but let's see how much it cuts down on your endurance and being able to engage multiple opponents across a longer time period. I'll be honest with you, I don't have some grand plan. I'm planning to just find where the Xeno threat is, hopefully, and fight for the good guys and see where we go. But I don't know quite when the timings are for that and everything else.
Thank you, and please visit again.
If you ever wondered, like in those hangars that are inside the ground, what is the cleanest way to get out? Scroll wheel all the way to the top, so your ship will go to its highest speed possible for whatever size of ship and the height it is without overheating. Don't worry about it being in the red on the left side on the velocity. And then also just hold the space bar. Don't touch anything else. Keep your hand on the mouse just to keep your control, so you don't do anything crazy. But just hold the space bar down. And all of a sudden, you're just going to levitate essentially into the air. And then, why do I have a warning saying leaving restricted area? Like, warning, leaving the zone full of rocks falling on the road. Warning, leaving the area that avalanches can occur. Sorry. But anyway. The biggest thing is just avoiding hitting the sides of an area while you're trying to leave. Here, I'll get my landing gear up if it hasn't already.
Landing gear deployed.
It was, apparently. I was slicker than I thought. let's get that back up.
Landing gear raised.
Look at that velocity, by the way. You can't fool me. In Atmo, no less. Look at that velocity. My God, 1,233. It is that is fast. Look at the altitude jump. Look at the altitude just whizzing by. 54, 55, 56,000 meters. Like that's astronomical speed. And this is the 325A, not even the 350R, which I also want to test this weekend. But I'm trying to see different ports. I did Lorville a few videos ago. I've done tons on Orison, which everyone else is covering as well. And I figured Area 18 needs some love too. I really like Blade Runner. I'm a big fan of the neon and everything in real life as well. I love diners. But I would say that Area 18 is truly a unique place. And by the way, with that kind of speed, watch this red or black out hard. Nope. I spun on myself, pushing over 1,000 meters a second, and not even a red out or black out. I am in space, to be fair. But Jesus. What an incredible ship. Okay, so on medium settings, this is what it's looking like now on a planet that has effectively just area after area of cities. It's not amazing looking, but once again, remember, I'm doing this. I'm not doing this on a basically a server in a box. I'm doing this on just a reasonable gaming PC with a 2000 series graphics card, one of the older ones, no less. So your mileage may vary, but I still think this is a beautiful game, even when you're just trying to keep it reasonable. I'm going to save right here the video, so the folks who have eagle-eyed view, folks who have noticed that once in a while there's a cut in the footage, I'm going to try more to be honest about those. This is going to be a cut. And we're back. Haha, see that? You didn't even know. You didn't even see that? I bet you didn't even notice that cut on a menu. Let's take a look. I strongly suspect it's going to be like the older events if it's available. We're going to go into contracts and let's take a look. There's probably something. That sounds mucky, trying to chase after narcotics people. Whatever. This looks fun. Oh, the 890 jump mission. I do not have a Cutlass Red with me, or an Apollo, which would soon be in the game, which would be even better. So I'm not going to really go after that. Mission. Let's take a look. Personal. This looks like the normal CDF mission. This looks like the bounty hunting mission. But I don't know if we could actually meet to Microtech. And specifically, they want everybody to go to Microtech. There's our 18. And there's Banji. So there's nothing really going on at Tressler. There's nothing going on at This is pretty cool, actually. So spontaneously, it looks like the server's going to try to form up a party for Xeno. I know this is kind of shocking, but once in a while on the test server, there's groups that actually want to do the testing they're being asked to do, which is pretty awesome. Let's take a look. There's multiple players at New Babbage, it looks like. I don't know. Jesus, why are they all out there? I have insufficient fuel. There's no way this poor little ship's gonna make it all the way over there. In the future, in the wonderful future, there will be methodologies to get people over places. I could definitely see somebody kind of doing a party bus with a Kraken or an Idris and be able to get over to places like that. So I would say that down the line, this is not going to be as such a critical problem, but right now is not that moment. And I'm sure you could probably think, well, why don't you just go somewhere else? You know, like go to a midpoint and then do some type of convoluted midpoint scheme and this and that. And the answer to that is that's just, well, it's complicated. Let's just keep things simple. The game's already complicated enough. You saw that go red because I was too close to the target. And I'm going to scroll wheel down because this ship is incredibly fast now. Just inordinately fast. I'm going to try to get creative here in a moment. If I hit the B key, it'll give me a distance. I'm not actually trying to warp. Jesus, look at that speed. Even half speed. Okay, so I'm going to work on a theory here. We're going to shoot right for the center here. Okay, so we're in Armistice. Let's say we were being chased by somebody. We're coming in way too hot, right? Right. Well, what if we do this? It is just bonkers acceleration on this ship. I barely even had to turn and burn to shut that ship down and start heading back the other direction. And I'm not, my character's not even blacking out or redding out. I'm sorry, like my brain is still calibrating how fast this ship is now. I guess that's an apology note for, you know, it's probably pretty squishy now compared to what it used to be. But
please proceed to assigned landing bay.
It's got, I can't keep saying that it's got good damage because I haven't had a chance to test that gap. Like, it makes that big of a difference. That size 4 gun on the front. If you actually manage to get something in front of you, and this thing has such good acceleration, it shouldn't have to be a problem getting something in front of you. I guess it really depends. It's just The acceleration is just insanity. Okay, fine. Let's just, the automated landing took a couple seconds there.
Landing complete.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
So if you haven't followed the other videos, this is the Gray Cat X-Reel? Arrow flight suit. And the stats on it are actually pretty cool. Damage reduction of 30% on the helmet. No storage, but negative 61 plus 91. This is where the real action is, the backpack and the chest piece. 30% damage reduction, medium armor class, 91 KSP storage, huge storage, negative 61 plus 91. Here's the arms, same deal, 30% damage reduction, negative 61, 91. And the legs have storage, so it's medium 30k, 30%, 10k SP, negative 61, 91. So, I mean, it's over 100k SP if my math is correct. And so this set I think is pretty good. They have mentioned in the past, so CIG's team have mentioned that armor that is designed to be good for industry protection is not going to be good at protecting you from weapons, and vice versa. Armor designed to protect you from like gun blast and grenades and such is not going to be that good at protecting you against like a mining explosion or an industrial accident of some sort, or a laser gun or a mining gun or something. So just remember that there, and environmental damage as well will also be something they're gonna have to factor in. So just keep that in mind. That's a constant thought in your mind with these sets of armor. Down the line, you're going to want to have good industrial armor that has higher storage values and is more designed to protect you that's designed to protect you from the things that you're going to be dealing with while you're mining. And then you want proper armor for defending yourself. And also, the heavier the armor, the more difficult it's going to be to carry around. It's going to take up more storage space when it's not in use. It's going to be more difficult for you to... It's going to be more difficult for you to take advantage of it when you won't be able to sit in certain seats, for example. Like, you won't be able to pilot a ship in heavy armor is something they've made crystal clear. Okay, are you really stored this time? You promise? So the 600i's got a huge buff recently. We should do... Well, the Explorer's the cool one. So I'm going to get the Touring just to make fun of it. I don't think I've ever flew a 600i in a video. So that's even more fun to me. It's like just constantly switching up these type of ships. And no, I'm no morphologist. Sorry, I'm not. I wish I was. able to review ships with that talent he has, but he nailed it. If you ever get a chance, just literally put in YouTube Morphologist 600i and prepare to be enjoyed for about 2 hours if you like, if you're that kind of person who likes watching how a movie should have been done, or in this case, how a ship should have been made. Because there's a lot wrong with the 600i. Wow. And that's before like every piece and bit and pieces streaming in. Think of my trust in this game, by the way. I have complete faith that this ship was not going to fall on my head. That's pretty impressive. Well, it's being created above me. So when you have the 890 jump, I have to look up the matrix again, but I think one of your loaners is the 600i. So you get like multiple loaners with the bigger ships in many cases. And so for a while, I did have an 890 jump because it was fun. And it was one of the first carriers in the game, so we could play with I could play with org mates and have a good time. I remember a few different orgs, and it was a great way to have some fun and entertain everybody, and really, learn a lot of gameplay mecanics. So I have some familiarity with the ship and its ridiculously large cockpit that has tons and tons of dead space, unfortunately. But I have not been on it in a few patches because I long ago put my 890 in buyback and probably won't bring it back out of buyback. It's not one with LTI or something, so please put down your pitchforks. Do you love fancy ships, though? As long as they're still useful.
You are clear to launch.
With the 600i, it recently got double the amount of shields, and it really benefited from that. And I can't help but think the weapon systems are benefited as well. And it's got decent-sized quantum tanks for its size, so it should be able to take us all the way out to Microtech and still have more than enough fuel to kind of bounce off of there for the inevitable, oh no, it's not really at Microtech, it's somewhere else. The princess is in another castle type situation. I don't know, Prince, I don't know. How that even goes anymore. How would Nintendo do that game? They should do like a crossover between like Mario and Link. That'd be really cool. Like Zelda Link and then Mario and all that. That'd be entertaining. Okay, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, so let's just get back to Star Citizen.
Please visit again. Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
This is something that we're never really going to be rid of, is that the sun is kind of just like something that blocks out a lot of the HUD. Unfortunately, it's just so dang bright. But it is a sun, and we are in space, with no atmo protecting us. So, there's that. I will tell you one thing. The 600i is quite a looker. Even when it looks like the thrusters are going the wrong direction. What a beautiful ship. I'm holding down the W key. Yeah, the thrusters are going the wrong direction. Or no, they changed their mind. They're like infrared grill now. Like in those little grills in the backyard. You can barely see the flame, but it's really hot. Okay, cool. Whatever works for you, ship. You can really see the weapon systems on this ship are pretty sizable, and there's a lot of them. We're out of an armistice soon, so let's take a look. But notice the low rate of fire. So I'm going to shoot a couple more shots just to give you an idea. Now this is at 33, 33, 33. So the power grid is set up to 33% shields, 33% propulsion, 33% guns. So this would be default when you walk into the ship with default weapon systems. This is fully holding down the W key. Sorry, the trigger key on my left mouse button. I'm gonna stop shooting before I hit a planet. Never thought I'd get to say that. But anyway, you can see that it's not too much going on in that department. If I'm not mistaken, there is missiles as well. Now on the Taurus, sorry, the Phoenix and the Andromeda, I was able to hit the center mouse button to have the missiles reveal themselves. You do the same thing for me. Here's a turret, by the way, on the bottom. It's right in dead center. That's nothing new, by the way. It's more of a... And there's a turret on the back. Once again, that's nothing new. They said for the turret... Oh, the turret in the back ran away. It got shy. That's probably a missile turret then. If I hit the center mouse button... There it is. It's not a missile turret, though. Unless it has missiles as well. It's just... When I hit the mouse button, it came in and out. The center mouse button. They said with the back turret, the idea was that people could be sitting at the bar in the entertainment area back there, and on the Explorer and the Touring, it's back. There's a area space back there, and that people would be able to see the turret in action, and that would give them entertainment. There's something like that on the 890 as well, to a lesser extent. It's just a quirk of these ships. Okay, so just fiddling around while we're waiting for the Xeno stuff to get sorted out one way or another. And I preloaded the arrestor missiles on board. So I am not quite sure if they're actually going to come out, but we're going to see if they want to fly. It's going to be so much fun. I love this kind of testing. And... Yes! There we go. So, hidden inside the nacelles are these huge missile systems. So, it's hidden inside the infrared grill are these big old missiles. And you can preload 4 of them. 4 of them to come out at once. See that on the... See those little blips? Right here. The arrestor 3s. As far as I can tell, they're the only missiles on board, but there's 16 of them. And if you press G, you can set between 1 being fired, 2 being fired, 3 being fired, even 4 being fired. And you can just leave them preloaded like that. And at any time, you can just go, you know what? I'm going to fire some missiles right now. BRB, LOL or something, and just... Let's see if we can kill our own missiles. Look at that glow. So, I mean, you've got a whole rack of size 3 missiles. And then on this ship, you even have... it's going to be locked because I'm sitting in it, most likely. But you can still take a look at it. Here we go. And on this ship, aside from all the arrestor missiles, which I'd have to replenish if I was taking this seriously, that would probably be a little pricey. But you've got these dual size 3 shield generators. It's a lot of shield. Now, on the actual weapon systems itself, what I was trying to get to, these missile racks, they claim they're size 5, but apparently they're just full of size 3 missiles. So I'm just going to assume they can't do bigger than size 3, but they claim they're size 5s. Racks. You have a size 5 cannon, another size 5 cannon, and then there should be, yeah, there's the third size 5 cannon hiding in this there. Sorry if it's going to be loud. I have a lightning storm going on above my head right now, so just bear with me if it's loud. That wasn't too loud. Oh, there it goes. Anyway, the remote turrets. You've got your size 3s on board. So when you saw those remote turrets, I'm gonna make an executive call and just say that both have dual size 3s on board those remote turrets. I might be wrong. I might be crazy. And this is where you put your paints. Obviously, you can't make changes while you're in flight. You'd have to land, store, and then add these different things. I think that overall, this is a very interesting ship. My gripe is actually with this one. I wish I would have pulled out the 600i regular, this is technically the 600i Explorer model, even though it doesn't say it. This one has the module. They're both ships are the same ship, but they have a module on the inside that's different. This one has advanced scanning arrays. It can have a rover in the bottom. It is an area for armored suits. So you have like a suit up room for like your adventures or your fighting circumstances, which is kind of interesting to me, to say the least. Has the same dual shields. Another lightning strike about to happen. And is fielding repeaters on those remote turrets.
I have been authorized to scan your vehicle for security purposes.
Am I sitting still? I am absolutely sitting still. You go ahead, buddy. Have fun. Oh, cool. It remembered the ship.
Alright, everything checks out. Feel free to
That's little touches like that make me happy. I literally didn't have to go through this whole list and go find it again and everything else. I just closed it, made sure I was stopped for the security check bullshit, and I'm back. Size 5 guns, triple size 5 guns. There's the third one hiding down there. Part of my aerial armor is blocking it. So again, sorry about the thunder and lightning. I figured if I am going to be stuck inside, I am going to make a video and ride out the storm having some fun. I thought also I'd be able to help out the community a little bit and test out this Xeno threat, but that seems to be a bust tonight. Let's see if anybody has anything new going on. I usually don't have chat up in these type of discussions, but I'm hoping that we can get some Xeno threat in. So while I'm waiting in chat for an answer, I'm also going to look in my contracts manager. Hopefully my backup power supply does not have to kick on. In fact, I'm going to do another cut right now. Okay, I'm back. Fun fact about backup power supplies. They don't like being hooked into surge protectors. So apparently it can make them not function correctly. If you have like in a chain, you have basically a surge protector and then the battery backup. It can trick it into thinking there's still energy in the line when there isn't. So it won't be able to save you in time to save the computer from failing, and then you lose all your video. Or your paper you're working on for school, or your email you're working on for work, or whatever you're doing. So it's good to save often anyway, but no matter what, it's good to save. And if you are blessed enough to have a battery backup, make sure you're actually plugged into the spots that are actually for battery backup. Not all the spots on there usually are, especially on bigger ones. There's like one side that does surge and one side that actually is battery backup. Make sure the PC itself, your screen, any perpetuals that allow you to physically operate the computer, your router, they're all hooked into that battery backup side. Because then that allows you to kind of have enough time to be able to, well, when the lights go out, I didn't purposely pick this. When the lights go out, you'll be able to have enough time to save what you're working on, so you can safely come down in style Xeno won't happen for a while. That's depressing. A little. I shouldn't even use that word. It's not depressing. It's testing. It is what it is. I will be getting on Xeno this weekend, and I'd like to get the 325A in action during Xeno. I'd like to see what a fighter can do, especially a talented and well-received fighter like that. Even though it's not going to be custom, like I prefer. These are your emergency pods, by the way. When you're on a 600i, the crew that was on, they'll be on the bridge would be run over here, jump into one of these, and skirt away. Some ships have just beds that are designed to be that. The Constellations are a good example of that idea. These are rooms for your VIPs. So if you are doing a mission that's in the future, you'll have VIP escort missions. Each one of these rooms will have a person in it, or two that you're escorting. Each one has their own restroom. These actually do they do function as much as anything else functions. They're not perfect, but this ship is in I don't know if they're calling it a gold pass or not, but it is in the process of being reworked because unfortunately it's just not up to standards I think that CIG was expecting. Not this section, but a lot of things are particularly here in the center of the ship. You have an area that would be where, for example, when Morphologist did his redesign of the site, he said like here, like it'd be great to have like a tree or an aquarium or anything else than just this little tiny plant, especially when you have all this space chewed up by this beautiful cascading centerpiece here of a stairwell. And another thing that was pointed out is this is kind of it's a cool idea, but this window needs to be much bigger, and this kind of area needs to like flow into this. I am not an architect like he is, but I at least understand where he's coming from, and I can say that I think I agree. This area here needs to have more view of this centerpiece that it really that it's meant to be here, and then this first and the second floor area needs something going on in it. It feels like this is a placeholder for something that could truly be amazing. I'm actually cool with the staircase. I think I've heard a few people complain about this staircase. It's okay for it to be opulent. It is supposed to be like a mini 890 jump, essentially, ship-wise. And honestly, I don't know if it was in his redesign or not. I'd love to see a piano down here, just like you have on the Phoenix. Yes, I'm okay with it having my precious Hartwell 88G, but I would love to see a piano right here. And whatever the heck that noise is should, not be a noise. This should be sound like here. There's no hum. You go over here, and then whatever's coming out of those vents is making a ridiculous racket. For a fancy ship, that's not really acceptable, especially in the passenger area. I think this is the main. Yeah, this is the main study. I think this chair desperately needs to be looked at for AI pathing and some other things like that. It just doesn't look right anyway, to be honest. This is one of the most beautiful windows in the whole place, and I don't know what that effect is, but it is nice in here. It's a little weird, but it's cool. I think there's a bathroom over here, if I remember right. This is meant to be like the captain's quarters or the ultra VIP penthouse suite, I guess, if you don't have a captain. And this elevator is a security risk because it goes all the way up to where the crew is in the main hull. In the main bridge. That goes right outside the main bridge. So I would think that during travel, unless somebody's staying in that room, I would want this door alarmed and secured. So it's like locked, and if somebody who's unauthorized gets through it, it would set off alarms up in the cockpit, giving away that, hey, crew from downstairs and in the cockpit, you may have incoming, problems from the visitors. Because this area should be where the visitors are planted firmly. They should be in here and upstairs, enjoying their rooms and enjoying the view in here. And there should be, honestly, a dry bar in here. I think, a wet bar, I should say. Over here, there should be, an entire bar. It should feel like Rainforest Cafe up in here. Sorry. Anyway, I'm cool with all this. And this is where the weirdness starts. You have to take an elevator in order to get to like where the other areas are for the passengers to go to. But this is really geared towards, this is all never meant to be seen by the visitors. All of this beautiful stairwell and everything, and this beautiful wall full of this, you know, it looks like marble or something. And then you have this weird crew quarters where they can all see each other's private areas, where it should be like there should be a little wall here. Like these rooms, these could have been rooms. These could have been right along, this is these all could have been different rooms that allowed each crew member to kind of have their own little space. And maybe even add like, you know, okay, this ends for the junior crew members, so there's bunk beds or something, or, you know, 2 double, like mini full beds. And then that end has single beds, so it's clear that these are the more, you know, senior crew members are in this end, whereas the less senior crew members are on this end. I think this is pretty cool, where they show components of the ship through the glass. I'm fine with that, but there should be a wall here, you know, that flows around these areas. These are escape pods for the crew. These are the co-ed bathrooms. I think males are on the one side, or, you know, something like that. Here's a male symbol and, well, 2 men's symbols. I don't know what the deal with that is. Just make them co-ed bathrooms. I mean, just anybody, you know, it's understood like one person at a time can go into either bathroom. I don't know why this is complicated. You know, just anybody can go into them. I believe these are lockers for different weapon systems, like for the crew to defend the ship and then evacuate if necessary. I believe that was the deal with these, but because they look like the 890 Jumps weapon lockers. That's why I'm saying that. And this ship is one of those that is missing one of those type of components, where you really don't have a battle bridge, you don't have a medical. And that's one of the biggest problems with the 600i you'd hear from a lot of folks, is that there's no medical on board this ship. That's kind of a weird miss there. There should be like a tier, you know, basically a poor tier medical bed, like you'd see on a Cuddy Red or something, or, you know, that's in here. And this is the locker room. Here's actually where the weapons and armory is. This is the suit ones. This is the weapon lockers. So I take that back. This room I thought was only on the Explorer is on this version of the 600i, the touring model. So there's my answer. This is the bar. I do not agree with this, that they have a see-through glass where a bartender would be standing serving drinks, or, you know, a party guest, I guess, would be serving the drinks to each other. This is kind of awkward, because underneath here, this is where I mentioned that the turrets would pop out. People that are sitting, even though you can't really reach this table from where you're sitting, anywhere along here. And these seats don't even really work right now. But you can sit over here. This would make more sense, I guess, to view the turrets shooting at things. I'd probably be pretty nervous if something was that close. The turrets would be willing to shoot it, but I don't know. Maybe with those dual size 3 shields, I wouldn't feel that nervous. Here's a nice, beautiful billiards table area. It's very well done. I think this is really cool. I love the circuit boards above it. Like, I love everything about this area. I think they did a great job. And the kitchen area as well. I think this is very awkward feeling, this little TV area, but I guess if I was on a ship for, you know, a few hours on a long voyage, I'd want to have as many places to hang out as possible. This is clearly like the data center room. And then the other room is the same deal. I think this is the engine room over here. Nope, just more engineering stuff. I really apologize for this loud noise coming in. And this is the kitchen nook with the eating area. Sprinkles and nuts and everything. Look at that. No, don't stab it with the med pen. And can you actually take the drinks? Nope, they're just for show. Workout powders and protein and waters and beers and high-end alcohols. And I can't even take a bottle of water. This is the same problem the Phoenix. Ooh, there's even plants under there, just growing away. Very cool. I guess like, you know, like spices and things like that would be a godsend on a long voyage. But this right here is very frustrating. This is the same way on the Phoenix. There's a little fridge in there, which is just full of bottles of water, and you just stare at it, and you just like, oh, I wish I could use that. Anyway, I think this ship is going to be nice. I think a lot of the buffs that it needed, it got. The Explorer model is the only model that's really worth talking about at the moment until this gets a pass. And I'm kind of interested in, like, this is not the video I intended to make tonight, but I love this window. Even though it's like in a really weird spot, it's not a lot of people are going to appreciate it where it's at, but I still love it. But I think it's in a really weird spot where it can't exploit a lot of the things it's meant to do. So, okay, the crew is meant to basically sneak around on these elevators, and the visitors are meant to go through this stairwell, which has access to an elevator that only has crew only access, by the way. And they're supposed to go to their rooms, essentially. Go to the rooms, go downstairs, go over there. This area on the 890 Explorer model has a rover, for goodness sake. You look through the glass and there's a rover down in this module. And there's even a scanning room behind the cockpit. So when you come out of that... I'm going to run a little bit just to speed this up. But when you come out of this door on the 890 Explorer model, there's a scanning room right here with 2 seats that don't face each other for some reason, which is really dumb. But you have this scanning room, and you have you know, the support for actual exploring, and then you go down below, and it has a rover and a whole pocket down there full of all sorts of support materials. I feel like this touring model, the reason everybody picks on it is because it's got so much dead space, and it doesn't even do the job well. I would not enjoy hanging out on this ship for long periods of time. I hope with even like the glass, like, I mean, even basic things, like this just doesn't look finished. Like, even I know that, like, I can tell, like, this just shouldn't be like this. Every little thing just feels kind of rushed, and it's a shame because the bones of the ship, you saw the weapon systems, the buffs to the shields it just got in 3.14 in the most recent patches, and the patch watch discussed. There's some really cool stuff here, but not a lot of people enjoy it because they're so busy dealing with the fact that the rest of the ship is kind of wasteful. I mean, not in a good way either. Like, in luxury, I understand waste is supposed to be like this cool guy thing and everything, but it's in a poor place right now. This is the new boost mode that replaced afterburners. You can see that I'm going to take my finger right off right before the red zone. If I hit the red, it wouldn't like discharge the engines, but it would make it much, much longer to be able to get anything out of the boost system. The further you hold the boost down, the longer it takes to spool back up to give you access to that power again. But I mean, look at the speed on this ship. I'm doing 955 meters a second on the velocity. It is incredibly quick for the size of its ship. I think we're going to see a lot of speed boosts in a lot of ships. And a lot of what people are used to seeing as the limitations of a ship are not going to be there. This is a ship with a lot of missile systems. It's got a ship with a lot of speed and maneuverability for its size. It's an interesting vessel, to say the least. Now, there's a few different variants of this. And, I mean, I don't think there's that many paint jobs for it. For starters, you're never going to see best in show skins for this thing. People have to vote on that, and nobody has. Very few people have a 600i, and it's just got so many things wrong with it. But and they did say it is up for a golden pass or at least some type of revised system for it. So we'll see how that really turns out. You can feel the mass when I'm trying to do this turn and burn trick like I did on the smaller ship. You can really feel that jump. I might even... Wow. I got really close to hitting the bowl there. This whole area here is much closer than it appears. And on a ship of this size, because I have all that mass to throw around, I really want to plan out carefully where I'm going to land.
Proceed to assigned landing bay.
So, yes, we're right back to where we started from, if you were wondering. I wish I, I was more creative. I could, be like, oh, we have this journey to go on, and this package, and, yeah. I did join a party for Xeno, and that person had a lot of issues with connectivity, and, wish them luck with that. And then I found out from the rest of the server, basically, that Xeno is done for the night. Because apparently there's multiple stages. You can see those doors opening. At least I hope they're still opening. Even when you get to bigger ships, it's not just the ship itself. I mean, look at how long it takes for everything to accommodate you. These giant doors take time to open and close. Okay, there we go. This is a very forward cockpit. I know most ships are that. I know you're probably thinking, why is he... Some ships aren't. And forward cockpits are a blessing and a curse. I hope that as we continue development on this game, I hope that the developers think carefully about removing that ability to do those glances where you saw me hit I hit the F4 key and I was able to just quickly look at where I was. I would not free look if I do that. Like, I don't hit Z. That would be a very bad idea, because if you start free looking too much, you will lose control of the ship. But if you just hit F4 and you just you can still use your WAS and D keys to kind of guide you in, and even in some cases the Q and E where you're literally rolling, because you might be landing on a not so flat surface on a moon, or your ship for whatever reason had an issue that you were not prepared for. The last thing you want is there to be an issue. It's always good hygiene to kind of pull these things up so a random player doesn't jump on board and run off with the ship, and then you got a long queue. I don't even own this ship. It's a PTU thing, but it's just a good habit. So for the heck of it, for this video, I'm going to kind of probably kill it very soon. But what I'm going to grab is a 600i Explorer Edition. I'm kind of grateful that Xeno was not available, because recording in this massive lightning storm is probably a bad idea. It's probably adding a lot of interesting noises to the background. And I do have as much high-pass filter as possible I can put on it. It's not digital, at least. And I'll try to, in post, try to tamp it down a little bit. But I genuinely don't know. I could be just talking on and on about this lightning storm and you can't even hear it. It's possible, but I can dream. But unlike, So there we go. And here we go. I'm trying to give the ASOPs some maneuverability, breathing room here, by popping something into storage and then counting a second or two and then going again. Seems to makes the ASOPs work better. Hello there. Is he wearing? Yeah, you're wearing a helmet without a helmet. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just add some glass to the bottom so you could use it in space? Oh, I'm sorry. See that? Your lack of wearing a helmet distracted me. Most of you live on a space station, buddy. A man's right next to elevators that lead him to places outside. Literal airlocks. I guess he's working out of the hangars, I guess. Like, I mean, I try to think sometimes, like, how an NPC ends up somewhere. I try to get them little stories, and I think about it, like, how would that make any sense? Like, if I lived on a space station, I'd pretty much, nice to Sidonia style, I'd have, like, one of those belts that has, like, the carabiner with the extendable, chain. Not chain, cable. Still not going? And, in Sidonia, when they had to do an emergency burn, basically they created an immense amount of G-forces. Everybody on the entire vessel would clip in. There'd be these random handguards all over the place, and you would clip in the carabiner. And of course, you'd still try to hold on and wedge your feet into wherever you could. But and people still got hurt, but at least they most of the time didn't fall, tremendous distances on this massive ship. I think something like that would make sense. Maybe like a harness of some sort. You'd just wear it on your gear. And I would probably have a real helmet that would be clipped to my belt as well. So if I need to go outside, I can just go do it. Same thing with the gloves, the sealed gloves. Have them just sitting in your pocket. Remember, you live on a space station. Okay, so I'm going to risk the wrath of the mighty shot caller that is the hangar lord, and I am going to just wander around. And here you can see inside the 600i Explorer, when you come out of the cockpit, you come through here. Here's the scanning room. It doesn't do very much at all right now, and for whatever reason, these two seats do not face the actual thing. They just do that. I don't know why they don't just face here. Like, it's so weird to me, but yeah, it's like you have all this space to work with.
Origin shipworks at your service. Core system operational.
It's a power button, and that has a HUD. It's supposed to be a scanning station, so I guess that's how they're going to do it, is they're going to go into the building blocks, and then you'll be able to pull up the scanning array, is my guess. But for now, I just want to exit, and it's the weirdest controls, so... Huh. What in the world? Okay. Well, that's that. And this is the room I thought was exclusive to this Explorer. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This is your weapons racks. Here's your suits that you can't get into yet. And if you look, here's the that says suits and armor. That's weapons. Huh. Can you get into these then? No. But if you look here, suit/armor, and then you have those weapon racks. And then you have that weird barb thing, like with the glass. That's weird. Without a doubt, it's the same everything else, but this core module in the center. So if you're looking at this video and you're like, "Hey, you're picking on my 600i Touring. That's the ship I have." Okay, yes I am, but I'm also not. Like, the Explorer, for example, has problems too. I ended up dead in one of these walls the one time. I think it was that one. I walked too close to the wall, and I'm not going to do it again because I'm terrified of it. But, like, I ended up stuck into this wall, and I had to backspace out of it. And my one org-mate was just laughing his ass off the entire time. And then the irony of it was, the next trip, he got stuck in the wall too. So he wasn't able to laugh about it after that. He didn't find it funny. But one of the weirdest things about this ship is you have to use the front or the back elevator in order to get downstairs. This is like the only ship in the game, I'm pretty sure, that you can use the stairwell back there in the bar, but like that's all the way at the end of the ship. So there is a way to do it if the power was out, or if the backup batteries on the elevators, if there is such a thing, run out. There should always be another way to get in and out, up and down the ship, that is not an elevator. That's why most of the ships, even the MSR, for example, has a ladder behind its tiny elevator because of that reason. It's meant to do that. This is below the scanning array, and this would be like the downstairs where people are sitting and hanging out below the VIP rooms. Instead, on this ship, it is a massive elevator. So this entire bay, there it is, comes down. And you can put a rover in the middle of it. It's actually a pretty decent size of array. And this is one of the reasons, if you ever hear people compare the 600i to a Connie, you're probably like, why would you even consider comparing the two? Well, this is why. It's pretty stout. I mean, and it has that decent size elevator. And then you still have your fancy bedroom in the front for the captain, or for your VIP, or whatever you're doing. I honestly think that this is probably the best in the game for a crash pad for a 600i, and then you still have that fancy area if people want to go crash, but then you also have the elevator, you still have the scanning array. In a perfect world, I think that captain's area should go away, but hey, or replaced with even more crew space, because down here is the same problem with the other one. The crew space sucks. It's just, if these were small rooms, if this was like these were walls right here, here, and here, and you could even have like a flowing wall that goes like over to here, like that would look really nice and that would work really well. But we don't have that. There used to be a placeholder orb in one of these bathrooms. I forget on which one. But anyway, that was my accidental impromptu review of the 600i series in 3.14K. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not going to mislabel it. I originally wanted to do a review of the 325A and how it performs in Xeno, and then hopefully I was hoping to switch over to the 350R at some point and basically cover that as well. That's going to have to wait. So this is the video. I make the video that I have access for. So please like, comment, and subscribe if that's so fancies your viewpoints and what you like. And number one thing for me is I love chatting about these things. So if you're a fan of the 600i and you think I didn't give it justice, let me know. And if you think that the ship is not redeemable, even though it has a heck of a weapon system set up, mostly fixed weaponry though, and missiles now that are improved, but they're still just missiles. So you can shoot them down if you're getting fired upon. You can use countermeasures when flares actually bother to work in the future. This ship will be pretty formidable, especially against other large craft. And this ship is a little bit of a sleeper. So, but do you feel that the weird style choices of the ship are too much of a hindrance to try it out yourself? Also, something else to think about is that this thing consumes a decent amount of fuel. I'm curious how that looks in 3.14, if that's still the case. And, yeah. I'm going to try to get myself into some Xeno, and the 300 series is part of that whole wrapped up thing this weekend. As I mentioned in my previous video, I have a bit of a collab I'm keeping under wraps, just trying to confirm. Somebody you've already met, would be involved about mobility with Star Citizen and how that would look. But I can't confirm that yet, so just it may happen, it may not. It may be timed a little differently than this weekend. If it does, I'm going to play that by ear. And also this weekend, I'm trying to go in and make a video about the general dynamics of the economy surrounding Xeno and the larger performance concerns of, can the servers truly handle all these Xenos at the same time? And I believe what the testing shows, the fact that we had a hot fix within hours of Xeno threat being put on stall is pretty awesome. But then when I come in the server to actually experience it, I look at everybody in the chat, how they're talking about, how basically Xeno only happens every few hours, and it's something we have to wait for again. So I think that You know, at CIG, you did a good job of building the hype. You had a good job. You did a good job of getting people in here. And but the fact that the Xeno threat is not up, I apologize for anything in chat if there's anything bad in there. I didn't see anything too bad or anything, but if there is something real rough, I apologize for that. Long story made short, I think that this was the weekend that really could have turned the tide on a lot of people, building excitement again, keeping that hype going. Orison is out there. There is videos and screenshots and galore about Orison, but you need to give these servers life. Open up the PTU to all backers, or at the very least, a lot more backers. And for the love of goodness, just do 24/7 Xeno threats. Just Xeno threat the shit out of things. Excuse my language. Get these fleets of ships out there and have the players be able to make dynamic options off of that, even if it's just forming up in fleets and fighting the Xeno. Also, one other interesting thing that I've seen is that there should be an armor reward. At the very least, I think it's a CDF torso. This is the first time we've seen something like this, where if you participate in enough Xeno threat events, you can rank up with the CDF, and you can earn the right to be able to, with reputation, to be able to pick up a new piece of armor. Hopefully that'll turn into a whole set down the line, that's something really, really awesome, and I want to see more of that. It's also one of the reasons I'd like to take part in Xeno. I'd like to see what that armor looks like, and be able to really enjoy that, if it's even available yet. So, yeah, I think yeah. This is where you would see the armor, by the way, based on what I've been hearing through rumors. So if I am able to get into Xeno, I will cover that as well. But that's it for now. Please like, comment, subscribe if you like this stuff. Take it easy.